Hello, we welcome you into Highlights. My name is Jim Strawn, host of the television program Highlights from the Heart of Our Community is brought to you through a collaboration between Jim Strawn and Company, Optimum Cable Services, and Kanawha County Schools TV. And if you're a regular viewer of our show, and we certainly hope that you are, you know how much we love to focus on those grassroots organizations, sometimes charitable organizations doing phenomenal work, amazing work to make our beautiful state of West Virginia and our Kanawha Valley and our city of Charleston a much better place to live, learn, work, and to play. And on today's Highlights program, we're going to feature an organization that is doing that and a whole heck of a lot more. And this is a very special edition of Highlights. If you're a regular viewer, you know we typically do about a 30-minute show. This is going to be a 1-hour special because we're going to be featuring the Kanawha County Schools. We're going to be talking to the principal of the new Herbert Hoover High School. We're going to be talking with board members. We're going to talk to the superintendent. We're going to talk to the mayor of Clendenin. Yes, we're talking for the next 60 minutes about the long-awaited new Herbert Hoover High School, and we could not be more thrilled to talk about that. We have some very special guests. The superintendent's with us. I mentioned the principal, the mayor of Clendenin, and of course a board member. And this is very special to me because I graduated from Herbert Hoover High School back in 1978. I was the first of 4. So this is going to be a really special show. To get things rolling, I turn to my right. I welcome into the Highlights program. I think this is the first time Dr. Tom Williams has been on the show. Dr. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How about yourself?
It's good to have you here.
Thanks. I
Welcome to
appreciate
the
the
Highlights
offer.
program. You have got to be excited about this.
Oh my, yeah. I mean, it's been 7 years in the making, and the folks up Elk River have been so kind and so patient through all of this because they went through devastation, and some of them still are. And this will be the highlight for them.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to kind of set the table with you. How long have you been in the role now as superintendent of Kanawha County Schools?
Just finished my 3rd year, starting my 4th.
Feels like the other day.
Yes, it
does.
Talk
about your evolution, your journey, Tom, to get from where you got out of college to where you are today.
Well, mostly it's been with Kanawha County Schools. I did work for Shawnee Hills in a sheltered workshop with adults down on Patrick Street.
So we have that in common as well.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And then I went to St. Albans High School as a teacher for 7 years, and then I went to other schools and was a counselor. Then went back to St. Albans as principal for 10 years when they did the $20 million renovation. And which has been 20 years ago. In August, it's been 20 years since that's been complete.
So you're a Kanawha County Schools guy.
Graduated from all K-12.
Well, you know, we have that in common as well. I was telling you off there, I was in the first class at Ruffner Elementary in 1966, and then I went to Elkview Junior High and Herbert Hoover. I'm proud of my Kanawha County public education.
As am I. As am I.
So this Herbert Hoover High School is coming, and again, I want to kind of talk more about that in a moment. But let's talk about maybe just like the president does for the United States and the governor does for West Virginia and the mayor does for a city. Let's talk about the state of Kanawha County Schools. How do you think things are? Where are we right now? And then I'll talk with you a little bit about the future of Kanawha County Schools.
Okay. I think things, obviously there's always room for improvement. And that's our goal, is to continuously improve. But we're strong. We're fiscally strong. We have a strong budget. We have the community has approved an excess levy for us through the end of the 20s, which has been a blessing because we'll be able to add on to facilities and much needed roofing and HVAC and things of that nature. So we're fiscally, we're strong. Academically, we're moving right up. Our graduation rate is increasing, and our kids are excelling in the classroom, outside of the classroom. We recently had 51 of our robotics teams in the county make it to
I saw that.
the state and nationals, and 8 of them came back from world competition, 2 of them with awards. So we have a strong K-12 program, pre-K 12 program, and we continuously look to improve. This year, for the first time, our kids who were out during COVID, our 3rd graders, were tested. And we found some areas that we need to look into to, make sure they're up to par because they weren't in school when they were supposed to be learning the foundations of reading. So, but we have plans in place to get them there, and most of them are there. We just need to make sure we don't leave anyone.
Well, that'll segue into, I guess, my follow-up question. What are the students across the board facing today that you and I, kind of the same age, didn't face, and how are we preparing kids for the next 5 to 10 to 15 years in the workforce?
I think when we were in school, and I was at South Charleston and you were at Hoover, we things were pretty set. I mean, we had the chemical plants going, and you went to college, you went to the chemical plant, you went to a mine.
Right.
And it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
We're now a global society through connection with internet and phones and everything else. We have to prepare kids to be ready for jobs that we don't even know exist
Isn't
yet.
that something? And how do we prepare them? I mean, just
you make sure they have a good foundation in reading, writing, and math. And they can work together well in teams. And we have some programs. We have a 4T Academy with Toyota Motor Company in Buffalo, and they just hired 6 of our students. And because they interned with them last year, and this year we'll have juniors and seniors interning with Toyota. So those are the type of innovative programs we have to move forward with so that our kids are prepared for the future.
Very good. We're talking with Dr. Tom Williams. Dr. Williams is the superintendent of Kanawha County Schools, which of course oversees this program, the Kanawha County Schools TV. One of the things I want to ask you, Tom, too, is, and I probably would be remiss if I didn't, parents are watching this and they're excited to have you on. How do you answer questions about safety for their children in our school system? It's a national epidemic. It's scary, but here we are. What are we doing here in Kanawha County Schools?
And it keeps me awake at night.
Yeah, I bet it does, brother. Yeah.
We had the scare last year in January at South Charleston High School. Eventually that went national, but at first we thought it was just us. And your life just sort of flashes. But as I said, the community has given us an excess levy. And in that excess levy, we have multiple safety measures that we're going to be putting in place. We already have multiple safety measures in place, which obviously we can't discuss, but simple things like keeping your doors locked and things of that nature, checking in and out of the office. But we've also got other things that will be coming in with when the new levy begins in July of 25 that we'll be able to put in place. And our teachers are extremely vigilant. They don't hesitate to report something. All of our staff is that way. And
that's where it begins, of course.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. We had your director of safety on a couple of years ago, and we did a live call-in show, and I think he's still in that position, but he does a really great job, doesn't he?
We are blessed beyond belief to have Keith Fitito.
Yeah, Keith Fitito.
He
Love him.
from the military and from the Kanawha County Sheriff's Department, he retired as a captain, and he has changed the way we think in Kanawha County about safety.
He is certainly sharp, and I'm glad, like you, I'm glad he's on my team.
You and me both.
I'm glad he's on my team.
You
Again,
and
we
me both.
continue our conversation with Dr. Tom Williams, superintendent with Kanawha County Schools. Let's jump into this new Herbert Hoover High School. You mentioned it at the top. Of course, I know it from being up there, but we have gone through quite a bit for 7 years. The Elk District, the families up there, the students up there. We'll talk with the principal here momentarily. We deserve this.
Absolutely.
You've seen the new school. You've been pretty privy to tours and what's going on. What is your impression, Tom? What are we getting up there, brother?
If my kids were younger, they would go there.
Yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles, right?
It has everything. But the most important thing it has strong leadership and strong teachers. And when you have strong leadership and strong teachers, plus the facility that they have, they're going to knock things out.
Well, it's evident of their strong leadership and their strong teachers and the whole, because when you go to high school in portable trailers and you still succeed like they have been academically and athletically, you know it's not the facility. It's the leadership and the teachers that make it, the staff that make it. They exceed.
Now imagine what they're going to do.
I just got chilled. It's going to be amazing.
With everything.
We'll talk with Mike about some of the plans, but I know there's going to be a big ribbon cutting and it's just going to be a big deal for the state of West Virginia, Kanawha County. It's going to be kind of a coup de grace for this county, right?
Yes, it will be. And, we've been blessed. We had to go through FEMA.
Yeah.
And anytime you work with federal government, things naturally are a little slower, and that's why it's taken so long. But we had to make sure we dotted every T or every I and crossed every T, just to make sure that when it's all said and done, everything is correct. And so far it is. So the governor's office, our 2 U.S. senators have been outstanding in working with us. Our local politicians have been outstanding in working with us. We've had support from anyone and everyone.
Well, you've needed it.
And we have.
It takes a village from the federal folks, the state folks, the congressional folks,
city,
the county,
everyone.
city, community, and here we are. How excited are you? I think we have a ceremony on that Saturday, August the 19th.
Yes.
You'll be present, I'm hopeful and assuming. And what do you think, how do you think folks are going to feel that day? What's going to happen?
I can't imagine.
The emotion.
To me, it's going to be like the WVU Pitt game. Everyone is going to be so excited and so thrilled to be there, and everyone's going to want to be there because it's just the culmination of everything that these folks have gone through, and this is what they're receiving.
You've done the tours. You've seen. You've been very close to the construction. You've talked to Principal Kelley a lot. He's out there probably every hour, every day. Is there something that is just extra, like, wow, we have this at this new high school that no one else in the state is going to have, that we're looking forward to? Just something that's really kind of cool to have that nobody else does?
I think it's a whole ball of wax. Yeah. One part, their woodworking area that they have, that they do for the state court system here in West Virginia, for the West Virginia Department of Education, for the Supreme Court. That is first class, and these are kids.
It's like a wood shop out there, right?
But
it's more than that.
It's more than that, and it's hard to explain until you see everything they've done.
Yeah.
But then the academics that the teachers tie in with that, the marketing of that information, the accounting of that information. I mean, everything that all aligns perfectly, and all of their facilities are right there. Everything, soccer, baseball, softball, football, tennis. It's lacrosse, it's band, it's all right there on campus.
It's so neat to think about that. We've done a nice job, but it's been piecemeal. We've been playing softball there, football there.
That's right.
Running over here at the track and field. Is that our field? No, we share that field. We're all up and down 14, 15 miles from Clendenin down the Big Chimney, all points in between.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say something about Elkview Middle School sharing their facilities.
Thank you for that.
Mrs. Lovejoy and the staff there have shared their facilities for these 7 years. And it's difficult, but it's gone smoothly because she and Michael have been able to work together to solve any issues that come up.
I love it. Again, we're having a really in-depth conversation about the new Herbert Hoover High School, the state of Kanawha County Schools, with the superintendent, Dr. Tom Williams. He's been a journeyman, but most of his journey has been through Kanawha County Schools. He is an educator, taught in our schools, educated in our schools, and now over our schools. How many schools do we have? We talked off air. How many schools in Kanawha County do you oversee?
Currently, we have 66.
Yeah.
At the end of last year, we had closure hearings, and this will be the last year for 3 of our schools. With the population decline, we've lost 4,400 kids in the last 10 years.
I was going to ask you about the caseload. So it'll be 4,400 less than when you started?
Yeah, in the last 10 years, we've lost that many, yes.
And it's very emotional.
It is.
The elementary schools and all schools is really the cornerstone and the hub of any community.
That's right.
And they're tough to lose. But it goes back to your point about how fiscal responsible we are and how fiscal stable we are. You just have to watch and look and see and go, we're sorry.
And our board has always been very student focused.
Yeah.
And when I went to them and I said, we can combine these schools and it won't cost us anything, and the classroom sizes are not going to be that much larger. Right. We have to do what's best for all of our kids. And I truly feel this is best for all of our kids. But it is sad. If we had the money and could afford it, every neighborhood should have their little neighborhood school, but we can't do that.
I'm with you. I was talking to Brianna, who works with your office down there in marketing and communications. Her and I were having a conversation. I just got done saying I did all my education at Kanawha County Schools, but I'm also one of the few people that I know, the only person that I know, I've actually taught in every elementary school in Kanawha County because I'm an educator. I got my education degree from West Virginia Wesleyan in '83, and I was a substitute. And I worked out of the Office of Exceptional Children with Sandra Barkey for
Okay.
many years. And I was the super sub. So I went to elementary schools.
Well, they did IEPs.
IEPs.
Uh-huh.
So I've been in almost every classroom of every elementary school in Kanawha County. I don't know very many guys, people, women, men, doesn't matter, that have done that. So I'm very fond of Kanawha County schools, elementary all the way up. So
Right.
I think you're doing a great job. I applaud you. Do you have a parting shot, something you want the audience to be left with, that maybe something I haven't asked you, or just anything in particular?
Well, this may sound silly to
Yeah.
some folks, but the first day of school still gets me excited.
Yeah.
And
And
August 18th,
August 18th.
it's a
this year.
Friday.
Okay.
And our teachers and kids like the starting date on a Friday because they get all of the business out of the way, and then on Monday they can start school.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So August 18th is getting here, and the first day of school is it's just exciting.
It's like Christmas morning.
It is like
I can
Christmas
see the
morning.
excitement in
It
your body.
really
You're
is.
like, oh my gosh, it's first day of school.
That's right.
And it's
That's
been
right.
45 years you've been having first days of
Oh,
school.
yes. That many and more.
Yeah, I love it. The superintendent, again, continued great job. I applaud you. Good luck. August 18th, first day of school. August 19th, little ceremony at the new Herbert Hoover. I'll see you there.
Big ceremony.
I'll big ceremony. I'll be there. You'll be there. Many of you will be there. We hope that you're there as well. When we come back, we're going to be talking with one of the, Tom mentioned his board. We're going to be talking with one of his 5 board members, Ric Cavender, being in the house. We're going to get his impression of the new Herbert Hoover and really the impression of Kanawha County schools in general. And then again, we have Principal Mike Kelley in-house and Mayor Kay Summers of Clendenin in-house to talk more about this exciting time, Herbert Hoover High School, the new one, opening up in August the 19th of 2023. And I will be right back with Ric Cavender. And just like that, we are back. We welcome you back into the Highlights program. Highlights from the heart of our community. What a wonderful conversation to lead things off. A very special show today, talking about the new Herbert Hoover High School. Leading things off was the superintendent of Kanawha County Schools, Dr. Tom Williams, kind of giving us a state of the state when it comes to the school system, but also the excitement of the new Herbert Hoover High School. And we did talk about the 5 board members. He talked about the board members, the board for Kanawha County Schools. We actually have one of them here now, our good friend, no stranger to the Highlight Show. We welcome him back in, Ric Cavender. Rick, how are you?
Doing well, Jim. How have you been?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
You've been on here with in a couple different capacities, mostly with Main Street and some other community things. That's your day job.
Yeah.
But you've been elected twice now to the Kanawha County Schools Board, right?
Sort of. I ran first in 2016, was
Yeah.
elected, and then ran for re-election in 2020.
So it's 4-year term.
Yeah.
So you ran in 2016, and in June of 2016, we had a little rain come down.
That's right. That's right.
Affected a lot of folks in the state of West Virginia and in Charleston, but really specifically up Elk got hit pretty hard.
As a matter of fact, one of my first board meetings as after I was sworn in was a community meeting that was held right there close to the site of the old Clendenin Elementary School with the entire town there, and that was for me a learning experience.
You're like, what did I get into?
Sure. Well, I mean, luckily I'd had a lot of experience working with the community in several capacities, so my experience there helped. But that particular situation, as we all know, was just so different and just so devastating. And it was really important for us to be there to listen and figure out the direction we needed to take.
I'm like with Tom. We're gonna come back and talk about the high school.
Sure.
But let's talk about your role with the Kanawha County Schools Board. You and how many other board members?
4. We have 5 total. Yeah.
It's been 5 for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, that's actually state law. Every county has 5.
5.
board
Okay.
members,
So you have yourself and 4 other board members. What do you feel the role is? What is the role for you and your 4 board members for Kanawha County Schools?
It's an interesting question because I think that the perception of what our job and our role is
Two
much
different
different
things,
than the
right?
reality. Yeah, which I think happens a lot with many jobs.
Sure.
But being elected to the board, our role, one of the primary roles, of course, is to, as a group, not individually, but as a group, oversee the work of the superintendent of schools. Go through the hiring process, the evaluation process of the superintendent, but also work shoulder to shoulder with the superintendent and to support them in their role any way we possibly can. That it's a big job. As you just mentioned, Dr. Williams was just on, and you can't imagine the work that goes into his job every single day. And so we do our best to make sure we're supporting the superintendent in any way we can. We also are there to review and pass policy as it relates to the school system, and to be sort of the connection between the community, not just the parents, not just faculty, not just students, but also the entire county, the community, the connection between the community and the school system.
So you were part of the transition from Dr. During to Dr. Williamson, right?
Yeah, my
Did-
first 4 years, my first term was Dr. During, and
Yeah.
then literally right after my election, Dr. Williams took over.
How do you
My
think
re-election.
how do you think that whole transaction and whole time frame has it worked smoothly? Is it
Oh, sure.
from one to the next?
Oh yeah, it was a smooth transition. Both Dr. During and Dr. Williams are extremely supported, and Dr. Williams, of course, has proven already to do an incredible job as our superintendent of schools. He's had, as I'm sure you discussed, as I know you discussed earlier, decades upon decades of
Yeah.
experience in the county. Of course, a lifelong Kanawha County resident. So, couldn't have chosen a better leader to take the reins after the 20 plus years of Dr. During's leadership, and he's already proven to be a strong leader. So we're nothing but happy.
Being a board member with Kanawha County Schools, not only is it important to you so you can support the superintendent, support the faculty, support the community, but you have two boys,
I do. Yeah.
and I think you do it for them and the other students that Kanawha County serves, right?
Yeah.
How do you think are the boys being educated the way you think they should be? Are they being prepared for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years? It's your family.
Yeah.
Do you think we're on the right track with
I
your
do.
boys?
Yeah. I mean, when I first ran, my oldest was only, I think, 7 years old. He's actually getting ready to come to Capitol High School this coming year, so which is hard to believe. But when I first ran, he was 7, and my youngest wasn't even in the system yet. And they were obviously the motivation as to why I decided to make the move to run.
That really was it.
It was, yeah,
Okay.
to have that voice that seat around the table to help make those decisions and to be as plugged in as possible. And I don't regret that decision for a second. To answer your question, no, I absolutely believe that they're getting a 5-star education here in Kanawha County Schools. I see their homework every single day and see how they're doing and stay in communication with their teachers. And we have some absolutely wonderful instructors and teachers here in this county.
Whenever I get the opportunity, I always brag on my first grade through 12th grade, all 12 years right here in Kanawha
Yeah,
County
same here.
Schools.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ruffner, Big Chimney for a year.
Sissonville boy here. So
Yeah, you're an Indian.
yeah.
I'm a Husky. LQ
Yeah,
and
yeah.
up to Hoover. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're proud of. We're having a conversation right now with one of the board members with Kanawha County Schools, Ric Cavender, talking a little bit about their role and the future for his boys and all the students that we're teaching right here in Kanawha County. You've had a chance. I know you've toured the new Herbert Hoover High School probably a month or so ago. I don't know how long ago as far as this show was being taped, but you were impressed.
Oh well,
What are your impressions?
That's an understatement. Yeah, I mean, well,
I've not had a chance to tour it yet. I've been on from the outside looking in, but you got to look in through it, right?
Oh,
What do you
yes.
think?
Well, I'll say first, I think we were all, I don't want to speak for my fellow board members, but I would imagine that we would all agree that we were really impressed with how well the folks who were involved with the planning, whether that's Principal Kelley, Superintendent Williams, Mayor Summers, everyone who's been involved in these conversations since the tragedy occurred, and then of course when the planning for the school started with the architects. I've been really impressed with how well they listen to the community and listen to the people within the school and their needs, and have met and exceeded those needs as far as what that school needs and what that school has, what they put in the new Herbert Hoover High School. We're talking state of the art everything, and just absolutely beautiful design, architecture. If any community in this entire state deserves what this school is going to be providing, it is absolutely the Upriver community.
You know the heartache. You know the heartache, don't you?
I do.
You were up there, like you said, right after the devastating floods, and you've been supporting it for 7 years, and you know the heartache. And here we are. It's upon us. I asked Superintendent Williams, and he finally came up with an answer, but he said it was really the whole ball of wax. But I'm going to ask you the same question now that you've toured it. There's lots of bells and whistles, but of course he talked about the leadership and the teachers being primary. Now we're going to have a facility that matches our leadership and our faculty. But just as of all the bells and whistles, what were you like? Wow, they have that. I never would imagine going to school with that.
Yeah, well, I think a couple of things stood out, and I don't want to say it wrong because I frankly was overwhelmed at times during the tour because there's so much. like the shop area, like what they're putting in there, I
Yeah.
think is absolutely
He
wonderful.
mentioned that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and I mean, because one thing that I've always been really big on is that not all of our students are going to go
Yeah.
to college,
Right,
right?
right,
They're going to
right,
they're
right.
going to learn a trade, they're going to
Sure.
go directly into the workforce, and the more high schools we have that are equipped to educate the students that are planning to go right to the
Yeah.
workforce or learn
Yeah.
a trade, the
Yeah.
better. And Hoover absolutely is going to have that.
I love it.
And I'll say, just from the athletic standpoint, of course, the baseball fields and the football field it reminds you of a small college stadium,
Mhm.
frankly. But even the gyms inside, the auxiliary gym, and then of course the main gym are just absolutely breathtakingly beautiful, and the press box they have built in there, and
Yeah.
it's really something to
I
see.
talked with Tom about this, and we talked about the leadership with Mike, and we talked about his staff, and these kids were going to school in portables, and they still
Hmm.
just they exceeded
Hmm.
academically, they exceeded
Yeah.
athletically. I mean, the football team,
Oh
the
yeah.
track team, the girls softball, they did so well. So
Hmm.
it's amazing to me that now they're being rewarded.
That's right.
They're still the greatest kids ever,
Hmm.
and they're all doing great. The ones that graduate from there are doing just fine.
Hmm.
We have a lot to be proud of, but now we're going to have a facility that matches
Yeah.
who we are.
I think that the facility, the school, really is sort of a symbol of the resilience of
Hmm.
those students
That's a
and
good
the
word.
teachers
Yeah,
and the leadership and
that's
that
a good
entire
word.
community. To me,
Yeah,
I see that you said the word reward,
yeah,
and I think that definitely
yeah.
is a good word to use. But also, it really is a symbol of the resilience of that
Mhm.
community. It's absolutely incredible.
Talking with Ric Cavender. Rick is a board member with Kanawha County Schools. He's toured the new Herbert Hoover High School. It's just remarkable what we've been through, the journey that we've been through. He's been there. He's been on the board ever since the devastating floods in 2016. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that on August the 19th, that's a Saturday, there's a little shindig we're going to have up there to do a little ribbon cutting and say, hey, the school's open. I hope you're a part of that.
Oh yeah, definitely be there. And it sounds like it's going to be a substantial event.
Yeah. Well, we're going
And
to talk with Mike, but there's a
yeah,
little country star from West
that's
Virginia
right.
coming in, little
That's
Brad
right.
Paisley action.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
let Mike talk about it, but
of
he's coming,
course.
right?
Oh yeah, that's the word.
That's the
Yeah,
word.
it's
You'll be there.
exciting.
You'll
Of
be there.
course,
A
definitely.
parting shot for the audience about this school, Kanawha County Schools, where you are, where we sit, what's our future look like for Kanawha County Schools, Rick?
Well, I'll say personally, it continues to be just a real honor to continue to be supported by the community and reelected to this position, and to be a member of this really talented, extremely incredibly supportive board of education. And as far as what we're seeing happen in the Elk River community and seeing the culmination of so many years of what started out as such a tragedy and heartbreak, and devastation, to be now to a point to where we can see that the light at the end of the tunnel for this community, and they can now celebrate something absolutely incredible, is really an overwhelmingly rewarding thing as a board member to see
Yeah.
that. We play, as far as the actual work has been concerned,
Yeah.
and the planning and all of that, we play, frankly, a nominal role in that. We of course pass all the policy, we approve all the
Yeah.
invoices, the bills, the payments, all that stuff we have to do as board members. We listen to the members of that
But there's
community.
boots on the ground up there, aren't there? There's been boots on the ground.
That's
up
exactly
there.
right. Those boots on the ground. That all that credit goes to, again, the leadership of the school, Dr. Williams, the architects, the engineers, everybody who's made this happen, and certainly the students and the faculty. So we couldn't be more proud.
Rick, I applaud you. Keep up the
Yeah,
great work.
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate
Great
you
to see
stopping
you,
by the
Jim.
Highlights program.
Of course,
All right,
thank you.
there he is, Ric Cavender. Rick's a board member, one of the 5 with Kanawha County Schools, and has visited and toured the new Herbert Hoover. And of course, we'll be there. We hope you are as well. August the 19th, we're going to cut the ribbon and welcome the students and welcome the faculty and welcome to the community the new Herbert Hoover High School. So we broke ground 2 or 3 years ago. I'm going to take a break right now. When we return, we're going to be talking with Principal Mike Kelley and the Mayor of Clendenin, Kay Summers. And right after we come back, though, I'm going to play this clip first. This is a little clip, 3 or 4 minutes from the groundbreaking ceremony from a couple years ago when we broke the ground to turn over dirt to start constructing the new Herbert Hoover High School. And when I return from that video, I'll be talking with Mike and Kay, and I will be right back. I want to thank everyone who helped us get here, all the representatives of federal, state, local government, at the federal level. FEMA provided us with a very functional temporary facility and is helping us rebuild. Our state officials have been supportive
Governor Justice, I know, believes in community schools very strongly, and he wanted these flood-impacted schools rebuilt. And I feel like we are the quintessential community school, frankly, and I appreciate his support for that. The legislature passed a flood relief bill that will help pay for part of this building. Locally, the county commission has been here and committed considerable resources. Law enforcement has been very helpful to us. The National Guard was there for us. And there were municipalities, churches, charities, celebrities, volunteers, neighbors, friends, and complete strangers who came to our aid. We were out shortly after the flood out here at the parking right over here at the exit, and there were two people pulling a camper that had driven here from Las Vegas to help after the flood. There have been tremendous successes. There have been some disappointments, as is natural in such difficult circumstances, but I believe everyone tried their best to do what was right. I want to thank specifically, and I'm not going to name a lot of names because there's too many friends here and too many people who have helped. But Missy Lovejoy, don't know where we'd have been without Missy and our family over there at Elkview. And I'm thankful to the board. I'm thankful to Dr. During. I was present when conversations took place about sending our students to other schools. That unthinkable possibility was real, and I will never forget Dr. During's words. He said, "Those people have lost enough. We will not take that school from them." And many have contributed to this day, but I truly believe that we would not be here today without the efforts of Dr. During on our behalf, and I'm forever grateful for that. And no training for how to react to something like this, like we encountered. There's no graduate class that anybody took. You get up each day and you go where you think you're needed the most that day. As we thought about what we would do moving forward, we learned from each other. I learned from you. I learned from a student who shortly after the flood said, "As long as you keep us together, we'll be fine. We don't believe in excuses at Herbert Hoover." I learned from a teacher who said, "We're going to be humble and we're going to be thankful for what we have." And we learned from a resilient community. We've heard that word a lot today, haven't we? Resilient. Where people had lost so much. You know, you get up every day and you think about feeling sorry for yourself, but you look at all the other people that are struggling with so much more than what we were struggling with. And when we used to go out and try to take food and water, and I can't tell you how many times people who were pulling everything out of their house and you tried to offer them something to eat or something to drink and they didn't want to take it. And they said, "We're fine, but would you please go down the road and check on my neighbor? They really got hit hard." Just such pride in this community, and the resolve that this community showed me, showed us the way forward.
And we do welcome you back in. Great conversation with Ric Cavender. And as you saw right there, Principal Mike Kelley at the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Herbert Hoover High School. We were kind of talking off air. We do believe that was January of 2020. It was a crisp, cool day just prior to COVID, and it got things rolling for the new Herbert Hoover High School. To talk more about that and the journey and the new school, As promised at the top of the show, we have the principal, Mike Kelley, with us, along with the mayor of Clendenin, Mayor Kay Summers. I turn to my right. I welcome into the program Principal Mike. How are you, Mike?
Doing well, Jim. Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Well, it's good to be here.
You brought our good friend, Mayor Kay Summers, with you.
One of my best friends.
I know. How about that? Kay,
Hi.
Mayor, it's good to see you. Good to
Thank
be,
you.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to talk with a little bit more with you in just a moment. But Mike, what do you remember from that groundbreaking ceremony that we just saw?
I remember it was a great day. It was a big day for the community. It was a relief to be getting started finally, and to be able to have that and just see all the happy faces out in front of us. And so it's everything picked up from that point on. But it was a great day, and we're looking forward to now a ribbon cutting, and that'll be an even bigger day. So
let's talk a little bit before we talk about the new school and the ribbon cutting and the grand opening. And I'd like to set the table a little bit with you, like I did with our superintendent, and a little bit like I did with Rick. But you're an Elk River boy.
yes,
You're a Herbert. You went to Herbert Hoover, right?
yes,
What year did you graduate? I got out in '78. You're after me.
1989.
So you were out just 11 years later. You played ball up there. Your father was our baseball coach, so I mean I know your whole family. We're all from the Elk River. You were born, bred. Everything you learned is right up Elk River.
Yep.
Kate's nodding her head because she loves that. We're all three sitting here from the Elk River, Elk District area. So you graduated from up there. How long have you been the principal of Herbert Hoover High School?
This
Mike?
coming year will be my 15th year. as the
15th
principal.
year. I'm getting chills thinking about it. Your leadership has been very strong, young man. What are you most maybe proud of with the whole Herbert Hoover High School pre-flood and the last 7 years, the journey that it's taken to get to the new facility?
I'm so proud of what we've accomplished at Hoover and what we've accomplished in our community. We have the nicest people that you'll find anywhere. Our students are incredible. They're smart. They're hardworking. They're respectful. They're raised the right way. And I mean, even the work from the students who were before the flood, right? They helped us turn that school from being one of the lowest achieving schools in the state to one of the highest. And we have been that for almost 14 years now. And if they hadn't done that work, who knows what would have happened to us after the flood. So even the kids before the flood played an important role. And then the students after the flood, the first thing was that our families didn't leave us. All right, we were concerned that maybe some parents would decide their kid might be better off somewhere else, but we gained enrollment since the flood.
You thought maybe they'll move.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll
move,
take
transfer.
They'll just transport kids into another school, either in county or out of county. That was a concern early.
It was a concern.
But the pride factor always steps in. We're very proud folks up Elk River, and they just wanted to be part of the River School. And let's talk a little bit about the journey. We have a couple of pictures here from the devastating June of 2016, and you can see there. Kay, look at there. There's Clendenin Spencer sign. Do you remember that water being up that high?
Oh, I
that
do.
sign?
I do.
And one of my most moving pictures, I think, Mike, we have you. Well, that's the school actually after the decision to bring it down. But you were walking through the school. That still sits up there, right?
Yeah.
I hope we do something with that a little bit later. But you were walking through the school right there, and I remember that being in the newspaper. And you're just walking around that still mud. You got a little umbrella, it looks like, or something, a cane, and you're looking down the hallway, and you don't know what you're going to see. I'm going to take you back to that moment right there, Mike. You're walking through our school, our Herbert Hoover High School. Are you thinking at the time we can save this? And when did it come to light that it might not be salvageable?
It just I tried to get there the day after the flood,
Right.
when we started to see pictures, and I couldn't get there. I tried to come up 119. I tried to go through Jordan Creek. I tried to go to Clendenin and come down.
Still water everywhere.
You couldn't get there.
To it, yeah.
And and then the following day, we had a funeral service for Joe Kelley, who was the longtime football coach. of Herbert Hoover. So then it was actually the third day after the flood when I got there, and my brother went up with me, who's also a Hoover graduate.
Right.
And we were walking around, and I didn't know what to think
Mm.
until, I got to start sitting. And initially, Dr. During's direction was that we were going to repair Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember very specifically being in a meeting. We were at Building 6 on the Capitol complex with the Department of Ed, and there were FEMA officials and school building authority people, and they said, we can spend all this money to repair Hoover, but then you still have a school in the floodplain. Has anybody thought about building a new one somewhere else? And I kind of looked, I said, I did, I have. And now, had I known it was going to be 7 years, I might not have said that.
Yeah.
But
You said it.
But
and
I
here we
said
are.
it, and
Yeah.
here we are now. So that was kind of the timeline of how, and that was a couple weeks after we had been talking. They had already started to clean out
Yeah.
the
We
old
thought we might
Hoover,
still
and we
salvage it,
thought
right?
we might salvage it.
Yeah.
But at some point, FEMA said, "Well, you can build it back there if you want, but we're not going to pay for it." And so
That's a different story now.
it is a
That's
different
a
story.
lot of
that
money
They're
at
paying.
stake.
They're
Yeah.
paying for 90% of what
Yeah.
the final cost of the building is. So
Yeah.
it is an example. I know it's been a little slower than what we would have liked, but it's an example of when government works.
Mhm.
That community is going to get that school,
Mhm.
and that this community, I'm telling you, is still on the rise. And it is what Kay and some of the folks are doing up in Clendenin, and the new businesses and the real estate is going for higher and higher. The property values are up. So, I kind of feel like a rising tide raises all ships, and I feel like that Hoover's just going to continue to rise toward the top.
I hear you, brother. We're talking with the principal, Mike Kelley, principal of Herbert Hoover High School, and he was talking about FEMA and government. We also have with us, speaking of government, the mayor of Clendenin, my good friend Kay Summers. Mayor Summers, you've been through this. You've
Yes,
been a part of this. You're Clendenin. You're Miss Clendenin.
that's right.
How long
Thank
have you been the mayor, though? How long? Have you been
This
the
will
mayor?
be my fourth year.
Fourth year.
Well,
And,
really going into my fifth. I just was
And
reelected.
you've been involved with the FEMA and the national folks, the federal folks, the state folks, the county commission folks, the city, anybody that'll listen to you folks.
You're right.
Anybody
You're
that'll listen
right.
to Mayor Summers folks. But you and everybody
listens
else,
to
everybody
Mayor
listens.
Summers.
But you make things happen, Mayor.
Well, thank you
You
very
make
much.
things happen up
Thank
there.
you.
Are you happy with? Maybe not happy is a good word, but you see the progression. Mike just talked about it. We see it. It's Clendenin's back. It's coming back.
Jim, thank you, number one, for having me today. But
Yeah.
because of what Mike has done in the school, that's bringing us back. That's helping us. That's driving us to improve our community.
Mhm.
I want people to come up because we're having 2 new schools.
Yeah.
And I want them to drive through the community and say, hey, I'd like to live here.
Yeah.
And we have the rails to trails,
Right.
and that's helping the school because people want to
I
exercise
love
now.
it. I love the
And
rails to trails.
we have the kayaks and that. So the school, we're working really closely with them. We want the
Mhm.
kids to know that Clendenin, when I speak to any representative to listen to me,
Yeah.
I say the Elk River community.
Right.
I don't just
That's
say
what I call
Clendenin.
it. Yeah, that's what we call it. Up
And
elk.
that's right. It is
Yeah,
up elk.
yeah.
And so, and I ran for mayor because of the Elk River community.
Mhm.
And I really do try to support the schools. And I just want to say I'm so proud of what Principal Kelley has done.
Mhm.
And the students, I've had 4 granddaughters have graduated
Wow.
from the portables.
Yeah. Wow.
And let me tell you something, all of them were highest honors,
I know.
all of them straight A's.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Doing well in college.
That's what we talked about with Tom Williams, the superintendent. They've had the wonderful leadership, the staff. Mike, I'll let you brag on your faculty. They have to be amazing. So we've excelled in academics, which I know that's first and foremost. And then on top of that, we've excelled in athletics, like we were talking about earlier. And now we're going to have this facility that we deserve to go along with. And things are just going to be, I'm sure they're going to continue to rise. I mean, like you said, they're rising ships. So what is the future now for the Herbert Hoover High School? We just keep going up, right?
Yes, we said after the flood, we met in the auditorium. Kay was there at Elkview, and we said very early on that we weren't going to make excuses. We would not use this as an excuse to fail, and that we were going to maintain our high expectations. My staff has been with me for so long. I'm blessed. One of my mentors told me a long time ago, he said the key to being a good principal is hiring people smarter than you and then take credit for everything they do.
Facts.
But I
That's
try
a good
to,
one. That's a good one.
I try to give them all the credit, and I mean it. I don't make decisions without discussing with my staff. And again, our students are outstanding, and our community. I mean, there's such enthusiasm in our community right now. In addition to our academic accomplishments, we've won more in athletics across the board over the last 7 years than what we have. And so my challenge to my staff, to my students, to the community is let's see how far we can go. Let's see what the ceiling is. All right, we're already one of the best schools in the state. All right, let's see what the ceiling is for us. And everything we do is aimed towards that, because we want this community to be proud of us, and we want them to brag about our school and what we accomplish. And so that's what my goal is to challenge our students, that these students accomplished much with little. So what will you do with much?
Yeah. Now the pressure's on the students
That's right.
of now.
Yes.
Hey, they did it without this. What can you do with this? That's a
Yes.
good challenge. Mayor Summers is with us, Mayor Kay Summers, the mayor of Clendenin. Not only do we have the new Herbert Hoover High School coming into our community up Elk, but there's an elementary school,
That's
the
right.
Clendenin Elementary School, that is on the
It is-
horizon.
it's,
Talk a little bit about that, Kay.
We're real excited. It is in the town limits. People were so concerned that Clendenin Elementary was going to be moved out of the town.
Yeah.
It is in the town, and it's a beautiful school. It's up on a mountain like Herbert Hoover,
Yeah, out of
High
the flood
School.
zone.
out of the flood zone, and that's real important.
That's real important. We know that now.
And so the architects there are doing a wonderful job, and we've toured at different times, and we're just real excited about that. But I need to say something about Mike's leadership at Hoover. It shows to the kids. And my granddaughter, one of the graduation speeches, she said, we didn't have a locker. We didn't have any place to put our backpacks. We didn't have any place to put our coats. But, through life, we carry a backpack. And Hoover has gotten us ready for that. And that's a message that it really is really true.
Good line.
And the kids are doing so well, and I'm so proud of them. And they deserve. And I was talking to the assistant principal, Mr. Cantrell, today, and we were talking about the kids are in portables at Clendenin Elementary, and they're going to remember that. So when these kids get out, 6 years, people are going to remember the portables. And after that, they're going to look at these two beautiful schools. But I want them to remember what brought them to where they are now in the mountains.
That'll be part of the archives.
That's right.
That's what it'll just be archives.
And how hard we've worked, and the scores. I mean, the academics, the different organizations. It's just fantastic.
Mike, being a grad from Hoover, I'm sentimental, and I like to have things for prosperity's sake. Did we salvage some trophies or some certificates or some things that we're going to be able to remember? The 1963 new Herbert Hoover High School from 63 all the way up to 2016. And we have some commemorative things.
I hope so. Like we have,
I don't know.
We have the things that were on the first floor. Trophies, for example.
Right.
And the power of nature is amazing. It picked up the trophy cases that had the band awards in it, and it was on this end of the building when the flood happened, and then when the flood was gone, it was on this end of the building.
Wow.
But we did salvage those trophies out of there. They were cleaned.
Yeah.
And they're in the warehouse at Creed.
Okay.
Now, what kind of shape they're in?
You haven't seen them yet.
I don't know. I'll have to wait until we pull them down. They're about 20 feet in the air.
How about the iconic sign that we saw on the screen, Herbert Hoover Senior High School out on 119? It's still sitting there. Where are we going? Is there anything going to? Are we doing anything with that, or is this just not that special?
I'm not
to people?
sure. I mean,
Yeah, I was just curious.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
that
we
sign
do
right
with
there. I
that.
mean, it's still sitting there.
Yeah, we redid that sign when I first got to Hoover.
Yeah.
The wood had rotted and
Yeah.
everything, and it was the Herbert Hoover Senior High School wasn't part of it anymore. And then our shop class rebuilt those, and we put them up there. And I would like to do something with it, but also, we have everything new at the new Hoover.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
And I'm very The aesthetics of
Yeah,
it is are very important to me.
Mhm.
But there's probably got to be somewhere on Elk River or maybe we just leave it there because Clendenin's going to
That
take
is,
that.
that is gonna be
and
ours.
It's
Clendenin.
iconic.
Yep, and I think
It's
I think it's
iconic.
remembered.
And it's so our little leagues and are going to be able to use those facilities. And so maybe it's just the right thing
Yeah,
to leave it there
yeah.
so that when people
That's what I
come
want to
in
do.
there.
I want them to
Okay.
remember. That's what I'm saying. I don't want them to forget.
Okay.
I don't want
Mike,
people to.
let's talk about the new high school. You talked to the construction crew, you talked to the architects, you know the subcontractors. I mean, you're not the contractor, but I'm sure you've talked to them along the way. It's been, almost 4 years. Um, what what's your impression of the facility itself? It's taken 4 years to get there. You've heard Rick talk about it, the superintendent talk about it. What do you what do you think of it?
Oh, it's
Are you stunned? Are you like, oh my gosh,
I've
this?
never been in a school that I thought was nicer than this one. We visited before we started to design.
Mhm.
We drove to Spring Mills in the Eastern Panhandle. It was a
Gotcha.
a
Okay.
new school. Came that night over to Morgantown, stayed the night, went to University High the
Pretty
next
new,
morning.
yeah.
Went to St. Mary's.
Hmm.
And all of those were nice schools, and
They
we
are.
found little pieces of things that we liked in each one of them, and and we combined all that into this. I got to say, working with Williamson Shriver
Yeah,
has been
they're the architects,
outstanding.
right?
They're the architects are right
Charleston
over here
firm.
on the west
Charleston
side.
firm, yeah,
Yeah,
best side, west
yeah,
side.
right down where Kelley's Men's
Yeah,
Shop used
yeah.
to be.
So you've enjoyed working with them.
I have loved working with him. It's been a long time, but it's been a really neat process.
Mhm.
I was blessed that Dr. During and Dr. Williams have given me a lot of input
Mhm.
to this, and that the architects, I'd try to explain to them what we wanted, and then they would draw it up, and then they'd come back and they'd say, and we'd look at it again, and
Look
we'd
at that
tweak
shot,
it here
Mike.
and
Isn't
there.
that
Beautiful. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
look
Wait
at
till you
that?
see it in person,
Look at
Jim.
that shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait
as
till
you've been talking, we've been showing some transitional shots of the construction, and I know we are. We're ready to open this thing up. So August the 19th is a very special day. This is a special show, but that Saturday, August the 19th, we're having a big shindig, right, to showcase the new school, right?
We sure are.
Talk to the audience about that day. What's going to unfold on Saturday, August the 19th?
Okay, so the exact details, we're selling tickets, and the
Okay.
exact details are a little bit up in the air because we have, of course, Mr. Paisley coming from out of state, and so that may we're trying to not nail those down, and we'll
Okay.
have additional information out to the public.
I
But
know this, but talk to the audience about why. I mean, Brad was a big part. Brad Paisley, country music artist from West Virginia, he came to help support us after the devastation of the flood. Some other famous West Virginians came along. Jennifer Garner was here. Brad was here. Others, and helping, showing their support. But talk to the audience about why we were able to kind of get him to come back. There's a little snag there that's kind of cute, I think.
Well, I do believe that there were some people that reached out to Mr. Paisley.
Hmm.
He hit it off with Malia Fisher, our band director,
Yep.
back when he came the first time. She was visibly upset, and he was touched by that, how much she cared about her program and her band students. And so when we started talking to them, we put it out, was like almost like coming full circle with not only for us, but kind of for him to be there right after the flood, and then to come back for us to open the new school. So I'm grateful to Brad and his people. His dad is who I
Good guy.
communicate with.
He's
Yeah,
from up in the Glendale area.
Glendale,
Yeah, Glendale.
very very nice man, and there are a lot of logistics that
Mhm.
go into it, and we're working through that day to day. Kay has been a huge help to me, and her daughter Carrie, and so we're going to try to make it the nicest event. It is incorporated with a football scrimmage
Because he went
and
to
the
where?
ribbon. He went to John Marshall.
So John Marshall's coming down to scrimmage
hmm
the new Herbert Hoover
That's
2023
right. We
football
switched
team.
it as soon as we knew
Okay.
that Brad was
It's not
coming.
an official game. It's like one of those gridiromas where you might play a couple quarters, exhibition.
Yes, it
So it's
is.
an exhibition football game / ribbon cutting / concert / celebration / we did it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I
Day.
don't know what kind of. I honestly do not know yet exactly what Brad's going to do.
Okay.
Or I don't know. I don't want to call it a concert
gotcha.
where people come in there expecting to get 90 minutes. Of
We don't
Brad
know.
Paisley,
Yeah.
So we don't. We may not. It may not be that. But he is there. We've been working very diligently.
Mhm.
Kay has, just like Kay always does, has helped. I mean, I don't know what I would do without Kay.
Mhm.
She knows so many people,
Yeah.
and she works and loves our community and our school so much that we accomplish things that we could not accomplish without Kay.
August 19th, Kay. You have it circled. Pretty
You
big,
know, I have
pretty big day,
circled, I
right?
do. You know, I think one of the things saying that Brad wants to see Miss Fisher.
Yeah.
He's
He was
requested.
touched.
He's requested some
He
time
was-
with her.
He was touched.
And they said, and I love it. We were in a meeting today, and someone said Miss Fisher's real nervous. Mike said, "I'm nervous too."
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful.
it is a big day, and
Yeah.
the community is reaching out. We're getting
Mhm.
phone calls from a lot of people
Mhm.
saying we want to come. It's just going to be a huge
I
celebration.
mean, this is a national story.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, it's a story of resiliency like none other I've
That's
ever
right.
seen, and it's a story about leadership unlike any other I've ever seen. It's just a heartwarming story
It's all
about,
true.
and there's not just tens or not just hundreds, but thousands of individual stories from people that lived through the flood. We lost lives.
Yes.
We lost loved ones that four-legged friends. We went through a
Lots of
lot.
homes.
My sister lost her home
Yes.
up there. I mean, so there's a lot of stories that
Yes.
here we are, and it's been a journey, as I keep using the word, but 7 years. And Mike, you didn't think it would probably at the time take 7 years, but it's okay now because here's where we are, and here's what we have, and here's where we're going forward for the next 5 to 10 to 15, and it's going to be something to look back on with a lot of pride, which we've always had. I've never known the Elk River people not to have pride,
That's right.
and we have it. We've got about 3 minutes left, Mike, in this hour-long special, and it's been great. Just to recap, we had Superintendent Williams on, and he's been great to work with, as you've mentioned. We had one of the board members on, and I know you've educated the board along the way, and now here you are. I'm going to give you just an opportunity, maybe just to talk from your heart about what August 19th is going to mean, what this journey has meant for you, how you have grown in your leadership skills through this, because you had to grow, because you can only grow when you're uncomfortable. You had to be uncomfortable because it was an uncomfortable situation to be in, and we know we only grow when we're uncomfortable. But talk about all that moving forward for a minute or so.
Well, I just we've always talked with the students. When you get knocked down, you got 2 choices: you can stay down or you can stand up. And our kids have time and again. You think we have been through a low achieving school. We've been through the derecho, the water crisis, 2 teacher work stoppages, the flood, COVID, and we just keep going and we keep achieving because that's the expectation. And I just want the kids that follow to understand
Remember.
the responsibility that comes with that. When people sacrifice for you through no real benefit to themselves, then you owe them a debt. And the way you repay that debt is you be the best that you can be and make us the best that we can be.
Well said. About a minute left, Mayor. Do you have a parting shot for the audience? Anything that you want to get off your heart?
I'm just really proud of the Elk River people, and I do want to say that the churches and the community
Yes.
have been so supportive. I mean, we have one gym on Elk River.
Mm-hmm.
We have we had 2 football fields, and we had to share. So the churches opened their door, and they came to me not long ago and said, "Hey, we want to do a back to school celebration for the kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school, and even college kids
They're having
because
that day.
they have ownership in
I
that."
love it.
Yep.
And so everybody in the community has really stepped out, and I'm just so proud.
Churches,
more-
and we ought to mention Elkview Middle School too.
Yes.
Because we
We borrowed their
we,
gym.
when we
Yeah.
didn't have anywhere to go, they took us in.
And yes, and they had to share.
Yeah.
I love
They
it.
had to share, and their stage, even a stage like show choir. you know, they had to borrow the stage. So,
Bless
but
your heart.
thank you again for having us, and
Mayor, thank
we're
you.
proud of you being at Elk River
Oh,
Road.
thank you. I'm very proud of my river folks. Mike, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We'll see you on August the 19th.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, we'll see you on August the 19th.
For sure.
If you want to be part of August 19th, somehow get in touch. There's all kinds of information out there on social media. Of course, you can always maybe give the Kanawha County Schools a call. But that's all the time we have on this very special edition of Highlights. As always brought to you by Jim Strawn and Company, Optimum Cable Services, and Kanawha County Schools TV. We'll see you on August 19th, and we'll see you next time right here on Highlights. Take care now.
He was. He was supposed to.